a child, around the age of 5, my dad gave me my first laptop. I was warned to keep my head down around them. I was told they were dangerous, and my age and innocence didn't matter. I was still a threat to them. At 6 years old, my mom took me to get to the hair salon for my first relaxer. If you don't know, a relaxer is a chemical concoction that breaks the bonds in the hair. It breaks them completely until it has gotten rid of the natural curl of your hair, my hair. After it's applied once, you keep applying it over and over, breaking every bit of new growth you get. She wanted me to look presentable, because in a world that values whiteness, safety sometimes meant conformity. I grew up around covert and overt messaging that told me my lips were too big, my natural hair was unappealing and unprofessional, and I wasn't as pretty simply because I wasn't white. That my black skin meant that I would always need to prioritize surviving over living. I internalized those messages early. So much of that is the typical first 8 years of being a black kid in the US. Our parents grow us up early to keep us safe in a world that perceives us as dangerous adults before we are even teens. In exchange for the hope of safety, our childhoods become this warped puzzle of love your black skin, but don't be too black because that's not safe. Don't run in public because it's not safe. Don't show joy, too much joy or anger in public because it's not safe. Don't stand out too much in public because it's not safe. I started drawing when I was 7, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!, then rough portraits of people from magazines, always white people. It continued like that until 9th grade. A teacher of mine, Mr. Torrance, would constantly see me drawing in class when I was supposed to be paying attention. One day he asked me why I only drew white people. That stuck with me for years, but I didn't start asking myself why until my early 20s. The internalized question of why do you only draw white people slowly turned into me telling myself, white people aren't the only beautiful ones. Then at some point it shifted to, do you know that you and your black skin have always been art? That became my new internalized message. I am art. We are art. It took years, but I see our beauty. Our hair is versatile and resilient. Our skin shields us from the sun. Please still use sunscreen though. Our lips and hips are things people alter themselves to obtain. Our music permeates so many genres. Our style, swagger, and rhythm are so on point that the world doesn't just admire it, they try to imitate it. The way we feel joy, love, pain, sorrow, and community so deeply, even after all this time, is an astounding miracle. But what if there was no after all this time? What if we just got to grow up, loving who we saw in the mirror? What if there were no cop talks? No relaxers, no attempt to keep your kids safe because it was just safe. Safe to feel, safe to be. Always living, never just surviving. That's what this exhibit is. I wanted to create a world where we keep our childhoods. We can feel safe with our emotions. A world where love is love, and the concern that you or who you love, and the concern isn't who you love, only that you get to love. Where you are seen for your heart first, not your skin. Where the need to blend in hasn't been eaten into our society. So much that hatred is the response for standing out. In some pieces, it's purely that world, and in others, our current world sleeps through. The piece, Childhood Unbroken, is its namesake. The imagining of being a child who lives as a child, instead of being forced to grow up too soon. Catching fireflies was a childhood pastime of mine. So I drew her surrounded by fireflies that she doesn't have to rush to catch. Her childhood isn't fleeting, so she has time to embrace and enjoy it. The piece, Crowned in Acceptance, is a drag queen, commonly existing in their craft. Stunning, beautiful employees. They aren't worried about how the world will project their ignorance onto them. Just another human being expressing themselves. Open wonder is a peace and a future world that not only has learned from its past, but fixed its present to create a brighter future. Bigotry, fascism, and capitalism are so far removed that they've lost their influence. She has plants in her hair that supply her with fresh air because they work with nature instead of against it. She can explore space with a peaceful soul because the change that needed to be done in her world was done long before her mother's mother's mother was born. I wanted a Black person unbothered in sci-fi. There is an ample mainstream media exploitation of Black trauma. There's way less than that with talks about our joy. If you combine Black joy with science fiction and search that on the internet, you don't get a bunch of books or movie suggestions. Instead, you come back with articles questioning if there's an importance to Black people in science fiction. Science fiction is not always set in the future, but it often is, and we deserve to be included in that future. Black living up beyond the unseen gaze envisions worlds where Black children get to remain children, where love knows no bounds, and where our parents were never forced to be complicit in trading our innocence for our survival. A world where our uniqueness is celebrated, not conditioned or relaxed out of us, where Black existence isn't a battle, it's a limitless, unburdened expression of self.